Osa has grabbed 19. That ties her personal best. If she can grab the next one, she has a new personal best of 20 feet. Welcome everybody to the Dogmode Splishy Splash 2025. This is Splash 101. We are still on our first dog here, Osa. Osa has grabbed 19 feet and is now moving on to 20. If she grabs this next one, she will have a new personal best. First miss for Osa at 20 feet. She still has one more. She's taking a 30-second break, which each dog's allowed to have. Which each dog is allowed to have one break during their run. So this will be a 45-second break, 30-second break. Second break is over. Now we are trying again for 20 feet. After Osa, we will have Bella, then Curry, then Hirsch, and Silas. That was a second miss for Osa. So her final grab was 19 feet, which ties her personal best. Great job, Osa. We have Bella. Bella is run by Michaela, who is one of the 3 members of the Wasatch Nationals Juniors team. That was a first grab for Bella at 13 feet. That was a second grab for Bella at 14 feet, moving on to 15 feet. After Bella, we'll have Curry, then Hirsch, Silas, and Dreamer. That was a grab at 15, moving on to 16. That was Bella's first miss at 16 feet. She has one more try at 16. If she grabs it, she moves on to 17 feet. And if she doesn't, this will be the end of her turn. Bella will be now taking her 30-second break. That's the end of the 30-second break for Bella. Now she will be trying again. Unfortunately, that is a second miss at 16 feet for Bella, which that makes the end of her turn. Great job, Bella. Next up on the dock, we will have Curry, then Hirsch. After Hirsch, we will have Silas, Dreamer, and Flurry. On the dock now, we have Curry the Lab that was practice at 17 feet. Now moving on for the first jump at 18 feet. There's the first grab at 18 feet. Now moving on to 19. That was a second grab at 19 feet. Now she is gonna take a 30-second break. That was a first miss at 20 feet for Curry. She has one more shot at 20 feet. If she makes it, she moves on to 21. If she does not, unfortunately, that will be the end of her turn. After Curry, we have Hirsch, then Silas, Dreamer, and Flurry. That's a second miss for Curry at 20 feet. Unfortunately, that will be the end of her jump. Good job, Curry. Next up on the dock, we have Hirsch. Then Silas, Dreamer, Flurry, and Harper. That was a first grab for Hirsch at 14 feet. Now we're moving on to 15. That was a first miss for Hirsch at 15 feet. Hirsch has one more shot to make it to grab 15. If he makes it, he moves on to 16. If he does not, unfortunately, that would be the end of Hirsch's turn. They grab at 15 feet, now moving on to 16 feet. Hirsch has 2 more misses that he can have before it is the end of his turn. So you can either have 3 misses inconsequent, or you can have 2 consecutive misses. And seeing that was a miss, then a grab, he is able to move on. Grab at 16 feet, moving now on to 17 feet. After Hirsch, we have Silas, then Dreamer, Flurry, and Harper. A second miss at 17 feet for Hirsch. He has 1 more shot to get 17 feet. They're taking a 30-second break now. Grab at 17 feet. Now moving on to 18 feet. If Hirsch can grab 18 feet, this will tie his personal best. Fortunately, that is a 3rd miss for Hirsch at 18 feet, so this will be the end of his time. Good job, Hirsch. Up on the dock, we have Silas. Silas is starting at 12 feet. Silas is a mini American Shepherd. That is a first grab at 12 feet for Silas. Moving on to 13 feet. That was a grab at 13 feet. Now moving on to 14 feet. If Silas can grab this, this will tie his personal best.
Got it.
That was a grab at 14 feet for Silas. Now moving on to 15 feet. Silas is taking a 30-second break. If Silas can grab 15 feet, this will be a new personal best. That was a first miss at 15 feet for Silas. Silas has one more shot at 15 feet, a new personal best. After Silas, we have Dreamer, then Flurry, Harper, and Data. Unfortunately, that is a second miss for Silas at 15 feet. Oh. That's a third miss. That is a second. Yeah. So unfortunately, that will be the end of Silas's turn. Good job, little man. Good job. Now up on the dock, we have Dreamer. Dreamer is a Como Yarder? Confurlander. Excuse my pronunciation. I'm probably butchering the name of that breed. Well, Dreamer is starting at 6 feet. Yay! Dreamer has caught 6 feet and is now moving on to 7. That was a grab at 8 feet, moving on to 9 feet. But now Dreamer will be taking his 30-second break. After Dreamer, we have Flurry, then Harper. After Harper, we have Data, Jax, and
10 seconds.
Connor. Unfortunately, that is a first miss for Dreamer at 9 feet. He will have one more shot at it, though. Unfortunately, that is a second miss for Dreamer at 9 feet, so that will be the end of their turn. Good job, Dreamer. Next up on the dock, we have Flurry. Then Harper, Data, Jax, and Connor. Now up on the dock, we have Flurry. Flurry is a golden retriever. Flurry will be starting at 10 feet. That was a grab for Flurry at 10 feet. Now moving on to a that was a grab at 11 feet. Now moving on to 12. If Flurry can grab this, this will tie your personal best of 12 feet. That was a grab at 12 feet for Flurry. Now moving on to 13 feet. If Flurry can grab 13 feet, this will be a brand new ARPB for her. That is a grab at 13 feet for Flurry. That is a brand new personal best. Moving on to 14 feet. That was a miss at. That was Flurry's first miss at 14 feet. Flurry has one more shot at 14 feet. That is time. So each dog only has 45 seconds to do a run.
But then we timed out. That's it.
No. That was a timeout for Flurry. So each dog only has 45 seconds on the dock, and if they do not jump in those 45 seconds, then they time out and get a miss. So that did count as a miss for Flurry, unfortunately. So that is 2 consecutive misses at 14, which maxes her out. But good job, Flurry, for that new personal best of 13 feet. Now up on the dock, we have Harper, then Data. After Data, we will have Jax, Connor, and Leroy.
about this.
Harper had a practice at 14 feet and grabbed it with ease. Now she will be starting at 15 feet. That was a grab at 15 feet, which ties her personal best. Now she will be trying for 16 feet. If she grabs 16, then she will have a new ARPB. That was a first miss for Harper at 16 feet. She has one more shot at 16. That was a second miss for Harper at 16 feet. So unfortunately, that will be the end of her turn. But good job, Harper, for tying your personal best. Next up on the dock, we have Data, then Jax, Connor, Leroy, and Malachi.
I know I've already done this. That's what
That was a first grab at 12 for Data. Now moving on to 13 feet. That was a grab at 13 feet. And now moving on to 14. That was a grab at 14 feet. Now moving on to 15. If Data can grab 15 feet, then that will tie her personal best. His personal best. It's a first miss for Data at 15 feet. Now she will be taking her 30-second break. Then she will try again. That is the end of the 30-second break for Data. Now she will try 15 feet again. There she goes. And she grabs 15 feet, which ties her personal best. Now she is moving on to 16 feet. That was a first miss at 16, second miss overall. So Data now has one more shot at 16 feet. If Data can grab this, this will be a brand new personal best for her. That was a second miss. That was a second miss for Data at 16 feet. Good job, Data, for tying her personal best of 15 feet. But now up on the dock, we will have Jax, then Connor, Leroy, Mickey, Rhodey, and Rasp. Jax is a mini American Shepherd and is starting at 8 feet. Jax grabs 8 feet with no issue whatsoever. And is now moving on to 9. That was a grab at 9 feet. Now moving on to 10. That was a grab at 10 feet. Now moving on to 11. That was a grab at 11 feet. Now moving on to 12.
Got it.
That was a first miss for Jacks at 12 feet. Now they're taking their 30-second break. And then they will try again. That is the end of the 30-second break. And now they will try to grab 12 feet again. Unfortunately, that is a second miss for Jax at 12 feet, so that will be the end of his run. Good job, Jax. Next up, we have Connor, then Leroy, Mankey, Rhodey, Rasp, and Fern. Again, the order will be Connor, Leroy, Mankey, Rhodey, Rasp, and Fern. Connor has a first grab of 15 feet. Connor is a Belgian Malinois. Connor has a personal best of 23 feet in air retrieve. But now he's going to try 16 feet. That's a first miss of 16 feet for Connor. Connor has one more shot at 16 feet. If he grabs it, he moves on to 17. If he does not, that will be the end of his turn. There we go, Connor. That was a grab at 16 feet and is now moving on to 17. Connor grabbed 17 and is now moving on to 18 feet. Break. Connor is now taking his 30-second break. Correct. That's the end of Connor's 30-second break. Now he is going for 18, and he missed for his first try. Now he has one more shot at 18 feet. I'll be back in like 2 seconds.
Nice job.
Right.
Oh, sorry.
I need to just... Mother, can you grab me something to drink with caffeine? Because I keep yawning. Okay. I was just asking my mother to get me a drink. My mother to get me drink. Like mother.
Mother.
drink now.
I'm like, mother, can you get me something to drink with caffeine so I stop being tired? It's like, okay. Was that practice or what? Pronounce that dog's name.
Mackay.
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 I've been calling it Mankey.
Mackay.
Mackay. Okay. I'll pronounce it right next time.
Almost 10. Starting to slow down. Attaboy, Leroy. We're kind of working, yes. Yes, we are working. Come on, boy. That's crazy. Is that why you asked me? Oh, she's here. I have no idea. I haven't seen her since before we started. And I started watching that.
He grabbed that's 14 feet grab. Mother. Mother brought you. Thank you. Monster. Mother brought drink. What? Once this dog gets off and on. Very noisy. Caitlin says this is her second favorite flavor of Monster.
I had peachy tea.
Never had peachy. It's not my favorite. It's very peachy. Do you like peach flavored thing? Then you probably wouldn't like this.
I like peaches, but not peach flavored stuff. It doesn't taste anything like peaches to me.
That was a first jump grab at 9. Now Makai is moving on to 10 feet. What? That was a grab at 10 feet. Now he's moving on to 11. If Makai can grab 11 feet, that will tie his personal best. Her. That was a grab at 11 feet. Now moving on to 12 feet. 11 feet tied her personal best. Let's see if she can get a new one at 12. That was a first miss at 12 feet. Makai has one more shot at 12 feet. If he grabs it, he moves on to 13 feet with a new. She moves on to a new personal best and to 13 feet. If she misses, she will stay at 12 feet. That is a second miss at 12 feet for Makai, so that will be the end of her run. But good job, Makai, for tying your personal best. Next up is Rhodey. After Rhodey, we will have Rasp, Fern, Lambo, Newman, and Rusty. That was a first grab for Rhodey at 13 feet. Now moving on to 14. That was a grab at 14 and a first miss at 15. Now Rhodey will be taking a 30-second break. And then she will try again for 15 feet. If she makes it, she'll move on to 16. If she doesn't, that will be the end of her turn. That was a grab at 15, so now she is moving on to 16 feet. That was a first miss at 17, second miss overall. No. First miss at 6, second miss overall. For Rhodey. Again, Rhodey has one more shot, 16. If he misses, that will be the end. She. And that is a third and final miss for Rhodey. That is the end of her run. Next up on the dock, we have Rasp.
Oh, yes, that.
After Rasp, we have Fern. Then we have Lambo, then Newman, Rusty, and Hawk. Now up on the dock, we have Rasp. Rasp is a Dutch Shepherd. Her first jump was at 6 foot, and she grabbed it, so now she is moving on to 7. Don't you? That's another grab at 7 feet, moving on to 8. That was a grab at 8, moving on to 9. That was a grab at 9, moving on to 10. That's a grab at 10, moving on to 11. That was a grab at 11, moving to 12. That's a grab at 12, moving to 13. That's a grab at 13. Now she's moving on to 14. That was a first miss at 14 feet. A very silly second miss for Rasp. So she started at 6 feet and ended at 14. Good job, Rasp, for reaching that many jumps. Now up on the dock, we have Fern. After Fern, we have Lambo. Then Newman, Rusty, Hawk, and Maria Jade. She missed on the practice, but is starting. Yes, and is now starting at 12. That's a grab at 12. Moving on to 13. That was a grab at 14. Miss at 14. Now she's taking a 30-second break. Then she will try again. That's the end of the 30-second break. Now she will try again. At 14 feet. There's a grab at 14 feet. Now she will be moving on to 15. That was a double miss at 15 feet. So that will be the end of Fern's turn. Good job, Fern. Next up, we have Lambo. After Lambo, we have Newman, Rusty, Hawk, Maria Joe, and Mara Jade, Mara Jade, and Tarot. The dog now has 3 names. Missed practice at 12. Lambo is starting at 12. That was a grab at 12, moving on to 13. That's a grab at 13, moving on to 14. Grab at 14, moving on to 15. That was a first miss at 17. No. That was a grab at 15. Moving on to 16. First miss on 16, second miss overall. Lambo has one more shot for moving on. If he misses again on 16, that will be the end of his turn. But if he grabs it, he will move on to 17. That is a second miss at 16. But that grab at 15 was a brand new personal best for Lambo. But unfortunately, this will be the end of his turn. Next up, we have Newman, then Rusty, Hawk, Maria Jade, Mara Jade, Tarrant, and Timber. Congratulations to Fern for getting her Air Retrieve Senior. Grab at 12 for Newman. That was a grab at 13, moving on to 14. If Newman can grab 14, this will tie his personal best.
But I'll work on it. I've got to go jump Frankie.
Newman grabbed 14. Moving on to 15. He has tied his personal best. Let's see if he can get a new one.
That was a new personal best.
Right there. Yeah. That's a grab at 15 feet, which makes a brand new personal best.
And you guys got a new personal best.
And now he's moving on to 16 feet. Let's see if he can make that personal best even farther. A first miss at 16 feet. He now has one more shot to grab 16. If he makes it, he moves on to 17. If he doesn't, that will be the end of his turn. That was the second miss at 16 feet, which unfortunately ends Newman's turn. But great job, Newman, for that new personal best of 15 feet. Great job, buddy. Good job. He timed out for his first jump, which that is then a miss. So Rusty now has 45 seconds for his second jump. Let's see if he does it. That was a grab at 7 feet. Now Rusty is moving on to 8 feet. That's a grab at 8 for Rusty. Now he's moving on to 9 feet. That's a grab at 9 feet. Moving on to 10.
Did you just call him Krusty?
Well, that's a grab at 10 feet for Krusty Rusty. Moving on to 11 feet. That's a grab at 11. Moving on to 12 for Rusty.
I did. So that was 12. Yeah. Why?
That was a grab at 12. Moving to 13.
What I already told you. Same.
This one for Krusty Musty. Rusty. That was a first miss at 13, second miss overall. He has one more shot to grab this. Did you? second miss for Rusty at 13 feet, third overall, so that will be the end of his turn, unfortunately. Good job, little man. Next up on the dock, we have Hawk. After Hawk, we have Mira Jade, Timber, Taro, Timber, Tucker, and Frankie. That was a practice at 9. And now he is starting at 9. For Hawk, that's a grab at 9, moving to 10. That's a first miss for Hank at Hawk at 10 feet. He has one more shot to get 10 feet. If he grabs it, he moves on to 11. If he doesn't, unfortunately, that will be the end of his turn. That's Hawk's second miss at 10 feet. So that unfortunately will be the end of his turn. Good job, buddy. Next up on the dock, we have Mara Jade. Then tear it.
Taro.
Taro. Timber, Tucker, and Frankie. It seems like it's.
Her average is 7. 13.
Oh. Did you just see the dog like fall off the dock because it was so up close? That was a grab at 6 feet. Now, Mara Jo is gonna start at Mara Jade is gonna start at 13 feet. I'm gonna get fired. Now that's a grab at 13. Moving on to 14. That's a grab at 14. Moving on to 15. A first miss at 15. Now she gets one more shot to grab this. If she makes it, she moves on to 16 and has a shot to a brand new personal best. If she misses, that will be the end of her turn. Miss at 15 for Mara Jade. So unfortunately, that is the end of her turn. Good job, little girl. Next up, we have Taro.
Yes.
Then Timber, Tucker, and Frankie. That was a miss at 10 and a grab at 10. So now she'll be moving on to 11 feet. Does she compete?
That was 11, right?
That was a grab at 11 feet, moving on to 12. That's a grab at 12, moving to 13. That's a miss at that's his first miss at 13, second miss overall. Tara has one more shot at getting 13 feet. If she misses, that's the end of her turn. If she makes it, she will continue on to 14 feet. That's a grab at 13, moving on to 14. If Taro can grab 14 feet, that will be a new personal best. That's a third miss at 14 feet. So that was the end of Taro's splash. But that was no tied.
Oh, yes, Tommy, sorry.
Now on the dock we have Timber. Timber starting at 15 feet. Grab at 15, moving on to 16. 16 moving on to 17. That's a grab at 17, moving on to 18. 17 tied her personal best. Let's see if she can get a new one on 18. It's like the first miss at 18. Timber's taking a 30-second break. Then she will try again for a new personal best of 18. If she misses, that will be the end of her turn. If she makes it, she has a new personal best, and she'll get to move on to 19. Timber, we have Tucker and Frankie. Unfortunately, she missed another time, which means that she has ended her turn. But good job, Timber, for tying their personal best of 17 feet. Next up on the dock, we have Tucker, then Frankie. That's a grab at 8, moving to 9. No, that's practice at 6. Now they're starting at 8. So grab at 8, moving on to 9. That's a grab at 9. Moving on to 10. That's the first miss at 10. Now they're doing a 30-second break. And Tucker has one more shot to grab 10 feet. If he grabs it, he moves on to 11, which would tie his personal best. And if he misses, that will be the end of his turn. That's the second miss at 10, which will be the end of Tucker's turn. Good job, Tucker. Next, but not last but not least on dock, we have Frankie. Frankie will be starting at 6 feet.
That was something, Frankie.
That's a first miss at 6 feet for Frankie. There's a first grab for Frankie at 6 feet. Moving on to 7.
Now at 8.
That's a grab at 7. Moving on to 8. Grab at 8 for Frankie, which ties his personal best. That's a first miss at 9, second miss overall for Frankie. Frankie has one more shot to get this.
She should be last. She always is last.
That's a second miss for Frankie at 9 feet. So Frankie is all done. That is the last dog for Splash 101 for AR. We will be back in about... Are we starting? We will be starting Splash Distance 1 in about 10 minutes. So come back for that. And we're out.